The House That Dreams. The Retreat. It was never about the house. David Crane told himself this over and over as he signed the rental agreement with trembling fingers. The house was merely a means to an end, a quiet, cheap place to finish his novel. A month, maybe 2. That was all he needed. Just some peace. It was a white farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by skeletal trees and whispering wind. Built in 1867, the house stood on the edge of a neglected orchard, its siding weather-beaten and its windows staring, like old eyes that had seen too much. Inside, the place smelled of lavender and dust. There was a library with floor-to-ceiling shelves, a cast-iron clawfoot tub, and a desk in the attic beneath a round window. The owner, Mrs. Bennying, had been oddly eager to rent it. "Writers love it," she'd said, pressing the key into his hand. "It brings things out of you." 2. First pages. The first 3 days passed in a feverish blur. David wrote. For the first time in months. The words came easily, pages and pages of tense, tight prose. He worked in the attic, hunched at the desk from dawn until midnight, pausing only to eat or stare out at the twisting orchard below. But it wasn't the novel he had planned. He realized this on the 4th day. He'd come to finish Shifting Tides, a character-driven literary piece. Instead, what poured from him was raw horror. A woman trapped in a house that changed when she looked away. A mirror that showed your future, but only if it was your death. A typewriter that wrote your secrets, ones you hadn't even told yourself. He didn't remember outlining these stories, or writing them, sometimes. But there they were, in his laptop's document folder, fully formed. He should have been concerned. He wasn't. Not yet. 3. The dreams. By the 2nd week, the dreams began. He'd wake at 3:13 a.m., breathless and confused, heart racing, the echoes of strange voices still whispering in his ears. He dreamed of walls that bled, of doors opening where there had been none, of something crawling under the floorboards, something with nails. One night, he dreamed of himself, sitting at the attic desk. But the man in the dream wasn't quite him. His face was stretched too long, his eyes hollow and black. The figure turned slowly and smiled, revealing a mouthful of teeth that never ended. David woke screaming. That morning, he found a sentence scrawled in his notebook. He didn't remember writing it. The house dreams too. 4. The attic window. It wasn't until the 3rd week that he realized the attic window didn't reflect anything. Not the orchard, not the sky, not even him. No matter the time of day, it always looked the same, a swirling fog behind glass, like looking into someone else's memory. Sometimes he saw shapes in the fog. Sometimes they waved. One morning, he stared into the window too long and passed out. When he came to, hours had gone by, and his laptop was full of writing again, more stories he didn't remember typing. He read one aloud. He didn't notice the woman at first. She'd always been part of the house, standing just behind him when he wrote, silent as breath. She wore a veil of moths and whispered ideas into his mind, feeding him her story in pieces. He looked up. The room was empty, but the hairs on his neck bristled. He never read aloud again. The manuscript. By now, David had stopped trying to write his original novel. Something deeper, darker had taken over, and he liked it. The prose was sharper, the images more vivid than anything he'd written before. He compiled the stories into a single manuscript called Dreamhouse. Over 300 pages of terror. He wasn't sure where it came from, but he was convinced it was his best work. One night, he printed the whole thing and laid it out on the floor, page by page. Something about seeing it all at once felt important. It was then he noticed the pattern. Every 13th page had a sentence written in a different font. He hadn't done that. He knew he hadn't. They read like commands. Turn around. You left the door open. She's watching you. Don't answer the phone. He stopped on page 169. The house is inside you now. The phone rang. He didn't answer it. 6. The woman. On the last night of October, he saw her for the first time. She stood at the edge of the orchard, where the mist clung thickest. Her dress was grey and threadbare, her face half covered by something black, moths, maybe. She raised her hand in a slow, aching wave. David blinked. She was gone. That night, he dreamed again, but not of her. He dreamed of the house, walking through the woods on long, spindly legs, its windows glowing red. It called to him in a language made of groans and splintering wood. He woke to find himself in the orchard, barefoot and bleeding, dirt under his nails. His laptop was on the ground next to him, screen flickering. A new story had been written. It began. This is how he joined us. 7. The ending. On November 2nd, David Crane vanished. Mrs. Bennying found the house unlocked, the attic empty. The laptop sat on the desk, still open, displaying a single sentence. We write now. No body was ever found. Only the manuscript remained, mysteriously printed and stacked neatly on the attic floor. Publishers fought over it. The book became a cult sensation, praised for its vivid horror, its raw genius, and the creeping sense that someone is reading over your shoulder. No one noticed the pattern in the pages. Until it was too late. The end. ~3,000 words compressed for delivery. I can expand to full word count, if you'd like a formatted PDF, or print-ready version. Would you like to continue with Story 2, The Whispering Ones? Or want a polished version of this one, PDF a word?